Hello and welcome to the Beat LA podcast from our new Super Bowl week studio. My name is Matt Ferrucci. I am still a writer-director in Los Angeles, and I am joined, as always, by a man who just embedded a Neuralink chip in his head, Mr. Paul Rule. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, still a little sore, Matt, but I've been feeling good about it.
Are you downloading things? Like, are you able to look at something and then it kind of, Dr. X's?
I don't know. I feel like it actually, what it did is it made me think I was in the same room with you. Is that possible?
I mean,
it's like a VR camera kind of thing happening in my head.
Got it. I mean, what do you think of our new digs? That's like, we've made it, Paul.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Episode 14.
For all anybody knows, the Super Bowl is right outside this door.
Yeah, we could be in Vegas.
We could be in Vegas.
But guess what? Vegas. Guess what? We're not. We're not in
Not
Vegas.
yet. Not until our listeners come through with a PJ, as you like to call it, and some tickets. So.
That's right. That's right. We're going to get to that. So the Neuralink chip, you didn't get one in your head. But if you could, maybe it could help with the leak in your house. There's a little rain in Los Angeles right now.
There is rain in Los Angeles. I was going to mention, that's why I'm wearing a sweater. Yep. My hat is a little wet. My good luck hat's a little wet.
Got it.
So, but we're riding it out. We're riding it out.
Nice, nice. Well, we are in our new digs for this week. This is the first time we've done the pod in person, sitting across from each other. Paul, how does this feel? I mean, we've had many conversations in person over the years, but now this feels a little elevated.
No, it does. The tension between us, I can feel it.
I feel like this is like a UN talk. Remember in what was that movie, Spies Like Us, at the end when they play Risk?
Sure.
And I feel like I'm an American and you're the Russian.
I'm Kofi Annan.
I mean, whoa.
Boutros Ghali.
I was thinking more of a Boris Yeltsin. I kind of correlate the drinking to who you are.
Wait a second. I feel like I'm turning into the Dean Martin of the show.
That's not a bad moniker to have.
It is February now. I can drink with abandon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, these new digs, we're doing the pod, like I said, first time in person, in the same location, thanks to the Startup to Storefront pod.
Yes.
Cast was so nice to let us use this space for this week. Shout out to DTP, Diego Torres Palma, right?
Nice, man.
Yeah, I know,
like high school Spanish,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is another reason why people should watch us on YouTube, because if you want to see the space right now, where's Matt looking? I'm looking right into that camera 3. You can watch us on YouTube. You can actually listen to us and not watch us, but still do it on YouTube. That was something that you had to wrap around your head.
Yeah.
That's what all the Gen Zers are doing.
Yeah, so I'm doing the dishes.
But if not, Instagram, TikTok, or you can just go old school. Apple Podcasts or Spotify, baby, right? Yes.
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 Great, Matt.
Okay.
Well done. Now you got the house cleaning out of the way.
House cleaning out of the way.
Yeah.
We are recording on Monday, February 5th. We only say that in case a player gets arrested for soliciting a prostitute from an undercover cop like Atlanta Falcon player Eugene Robinson did 20 years ago, and we don't talk about it.
Right, or like Papa Mahomes got a DUI yesterday.
But I don't blame Papa Mahomes. I mean, he's an ex-pitcher, as we
Ex-pitcher,
know.
Colorado Rockies.
Minnesota Twins. Had a real nice fastball.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of pops.
Sure. His son's already won a couple of these. He doesn't even need to be paying attention.
Listen, I don't want to get into any family drama. To each his own. Me and you have done some real bad things in our life, okay, that we should have been caught for. But I think this is like the second time, and like Patrick Mahomes' brother, he's a knucklehead.
Yeah, great. Any distractions are welcome.
Speaking of knucklehead brothers, your brother, Ernie Rule, we love Ernie, but he's going to the Super Bowl this week.
He is going to the Super Bowl. You know who's also going to the Super Bowl? Nick. Nick, our editor, is also shooting us right now. He's also going to the Super Bowl. Everyone's going to the Super Bowl, Matt.
What the fuck?
We'll figure it out, Matt. We got a few days left. We often pull rabbits out of our hat.
Well, also your cousin Ryan. Is he your cousin?
No, he's kind of like, I'm sort of his mentor.
He's like the Tom Hagen of the Rule family, where he's a brother but not a brother.
Yeah.
He'll be there.
Surrogate nephew, which in Hollywood sounds like it might be untoward, but he's my nephew's best friend, and he's a good buddy, and he lives in Vegas. We're going to have multiple correspondents there is what Matt's trying to get at. If somehow we can't get out there in a private suite, in a private jet that one of you is going to send our way, we will have plenty of Super Bowl content.
But that's okay. Like you said, we're going to have a bunch of correspondents. Nick Conrad on the Beat LA team, he is going to be there. He's actually standing right over there, sitting right over there on the set. Nick, just walk over here real fast. Get into the camera too. I just want to ask you a quick question over here. Are you going to go to like the Chris Rock party, or like the Rock, or like the Kevin Hart party?
I'm still waiting on my invites.
You still wait on your invites?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have not sent. Maybe it's because I just moved. They don't have my new address, but I'm still waiting on my invites.
They probably mailed them to you. That's what they do with those invites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
We have faith.
That's Nick. That's Nick Conrad. That's the man behind the man who will be reporting for us from the Super Bowl. So in this week's episode, folks, we're going to discuss the circus surrounding the Super Bowl, preview the game, make our predictions, talk a little Giants, because Paul's going to recap his day last week hanging with some of the Giants brass. And if time permits, we'll jump into a little Warriors trade deadline and finish up with the best things we saw. But before we get to the game, Paulie, topics surrounding the game and the circus we need to discuss.
Right.
And it is a circus. Ticket prices, Paul, this is always a thing. They've gone down. The cheapest ticket on Ticketmaster this morning was $6,200.
Oh, wow.
Hotel prices are under $150 a night. We could stay at the Bellagio, Aria, or Caesars for under $150 a night.
What?
Yes, because they have the infrastructure. They host
$150 night. I think you looked at tonight. No. Okay. I know I know the rooms. I just think $150 is awfully cheap.
That's what I'm saying. But the Las Vegas is built for this, unlike Miami, like you were saying. What I'm trying to say is it's becoming possible. So I think it's only going to take us about $7,000 out of each of our pockets to do it. What do you say?
I mean, we got some time to figure it out. It's only Monday, Matt. I don't like to make decisions that quickly. The last game the NFC Championship, I got on a plane. I bought the ticket the night before, overpaid for it, and got on a plane the next morning. So I'm known to be spontaneous.
How much did that Super Bowl in Miami cost you?
By the way, so that Super Bowl, I also made the decision to go the day before. I was at a black tie event. You like when I go to those, Matt?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
At the Princeton Art Museum. And I decided to get a 6 a.m. flight down to Miami. And to prepare myself, I went by the liquor store, Public Liquors on Nassau Street, and got a couple of small Jameson so that when I got on the plane, I could take an Advil PM and throw it back with a Jameson and sleep for like the 3 hours on the way down there. And I started doing that. And the woman next to me, she said, they actually serve drinks on the plane. I said, I'm in a hurry. And
right.
She seemed confused. And now I don't know if you know, when you get on a plane now, which I did 3 times in the last week, going back and forth to San Francisco, they actually announced you are not allowed to bring on your own alcohol. I don't think they did that 4 years ago, and I think I helped create that rule.
I would say that you are possible to enact some alcohol rules on planes. Speaking of flying on planes, we should probably burn it in effigy because of what happened last time. See, this is from the last Super Bowl where I was at. Be legendary. Yeah. That's a good one.
As in a legendary choke, which is what happened.
Garoppolo airs it out. Sanders downfield is overthrown.
Speaking of you flying on a plane, because of Beat LA, last week, we talked about this in the last pod, you went to the Lions game.
Yes.
And the microphone, because we usually record mobily, your microphone got flagged going through security a few times. Am I right? Did you see that?
Okay,
yeah?
So I flew back and forth to San Francisco 3 times in the last 10 days for various reasons. Once for a Giants event, once for the NFC Championship, and once for something else. And so 2 of the 3 times I got flagged at security.
Yeah.
And I got flagged at security, and they went into my backpack, and they found, you can imagine what a microphone looks like. They pulled it out and looked at it.
Yep.
And they looked at me suspiciously. I said, I do a podcast. And I started telling them, Beat LA, are you not a fan, and things like that. But this is what I realized. And I asked you this in a text. I said, Matt, when did it become illegal to travel with a butt plug?
Right, because the microphone does look like a butt plug,
like
our
a butt
travel
plug.
one. It's like
Exactly
a silver
like
pod.
Yeah.
The funny thing is you don't fit the profile of a terrorist, to me. Like
Apparently, I may fit the profile of a guy who travels with a butt plug. I don't know.
I do think you fit the profile of a guy that funds terrorism.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I
know that's a compliment. I know from you that is
like
meant
an
as a
Eastern
compliment.
Bloc, like a Paramount Plus show in Europe.
Yeah.
You're the guy who's kind of
yeah.
has a vendetta against something.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's get into this Miami. The last Super Bowl we were at in Miami was 2020.
Yep, I was there.
It was right before COVID happened, but you got to the game. You went to the game. What did it cost you? Like $5-6 grand or $7 grand?
It was. I think the ticket was $5 grand.
$5 plus the flight. So it's about the same what Vegas is coming out. I mean, we were talking. It was $10 grand to start the week.
Yeah.
Now it's looking like we could do it for $7.
Interesting. I'd rather do it in Vegas. It's way easier. I stayed in South Beach last time. It was a nightmare getting in and out of Hard Rock Stadium. Getting back after they lost was a disaster.
Oh yeah.
Again, I was on like 2 hours of sleep. So you're right. Vegas is a better town for it. So again, I still think this could happen.
I think it could happen. And this is, I'm not saying you should fund
My
this.
marriage may not survive it. She's like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, but you're going to spend $7,000. I said, it's a tax write-off, baby.
Well, that's what our head of social media, Rebecca Hanley, was saying in our pre-show meeting. She was saying it's only $7,000, Paul. You can just write it off.
Welcome to America, man. People love spending other people's money.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
I got it.
So, yeah, this is a PSA for anybody out there considering the game. I'm speaking to our BLA legal analyst, Chris Merrill, who's saying it's too expensive. It's too expensive. Well, now it's getting into that window where it could be possible.
Can I give another Super Bowl? I have two anecdotes from that last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
One, I'm very excited that we're getting a redo because the world is getting a redo, right? COVID
right.
kicked in like a month later.
Right.
Niners had this revenge tour plan. Kittle was talking about it. Buckner was talking about it before he got traded.
Yeah.
And then the next year, but next thing we know, they're playing in Arizona because Santa Clara wouldn't let them play because of COVID protocols. So the world is now getting reset. That's
Right.
what I hope. The other thing I'll tell you is I was at the bar at the Fontainebleau after the game.
Yep.
And Super Bowls are known for having a lot of, what should we say, strippers, hookers, things like that.
Yeah. Working people, working girls.
people.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to one just because I like to talk to people.
Because you're interested for research.
And she was very angry because she said there were just way too many of them. It was impossible to get work.
Right.
So I'm hope for everyone this is a better Super Bowl.
Do you still have Cinnamon's phone number?
I never got it, actually. But we had a nice talk, and I learned a lot. That apparently if you are a working person, maybe don't go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
There are other events. It's better. Like go to CES maybe. Don't go to the Super Bowl.
Hey, listen, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl, though, for these working girls.
It's for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody.
America.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get into like the curse of that 2019-2020 Super Bowl a little bit later. One thing I want to talk about, and we discussed this before.
I'm not wondering why I just brought up the whole thing about talking to Cinnamon at the bar. We're going to cut that, right?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. That's the stuff that goes viral. Hashtag Cinnamon.
As we've talked about, my wife only listens to the first part and the last part, and my mother doesn't listen at all.
Mama Rule, though. Come on.
Dude, Mama Rule's a star.
She's a star.
She's a star on YouTube, baby.
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah.
So Brock Purdy,
Yes.
our boy.
Yeah.
We love Brock. We should be his agents. He should fire CAA or Clutch or whoever the heck he's
Hey,
with.
we were ahead of the curve. We were already talking about sponsorship.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A few pods before Christmas, it was the Purdy MVP talk, and you and I, as the clairvoyant seers that we are, the prophets that we are, we had a segment discussing Brock's future commercial endorsement possibilities. Mahomes at State Farm, Josh Allen, Verizon, Kelsey Pfizer, Russell Wilson,
We could
Subway.
just re-queue up the clip from last time. You said all those same things.
We did. But what I will say is this. We were playing his agent, and you projected some products and companies that would be perfect for him. I don't know if you remember this. You said Chef Boyardee.
I do remember that, yeah.
Or something wholesome like breakfast cereal.
Right.
I said Got Milk, Slap Chop, or John Deere.
Slap chop.
It was announced this last week that Toyota has signed our boy Brock Purdy to a lucrative endorsement deal as its spokesperson for national campaigns, commercial campaigns. He also has Alaska Airlines. Right now, you wear a Brock Purdy jersey, you get priority seating. I don't know if you know this. This was new in the research today. He also has a deal with Buffalo Wild Wings.
Priority seat. So does your seat change, or you just get on the plane sooner so you can put your bag up?
Great question, Paul.
Yeah.
Let's
All right.
fly Alaska to Vegas.
Figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also the Purdy Great Burger at Buffalo Wild Wings. How do we feel about all this?
The Purdy Great Burger at Buffalo Wild.
Purdy Great Burger.
Oh,
Purdy Great Burger.
is it a burger or is it chicken?
I would assume it's beef.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
'cause he
Buffalo Wild
yeah,
Wings.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Take things very literally, man.
But how do you feel about the Toyota?
You know, he was doing a local Toyota ad, I think, or something. I saw something about that. So I think he was doing local, like, Toyota dealership
Well,
kind
before
of
the
things.
season started,
Yeah.
they signed him to a regional deal.
Okay. See, that's what I was getting
But
at.
you take your team to the Super Bowl,
Right. You go national.
you get the national worldwide campaign with
Right.
Eli Manning.
Wow, I didn't know he was doing with Eli Manning. Another quarterback that people, they had trouble convinced that they were more than a game manager. So they could do they could do a manager thing. Like, can I see the manager? Like,
Right.
when you're buying a car, and
Then Brock Purdy comes out
Brock Purdy
and
comes
gets you
out.
into a 4Runner.
Yeah, gets you a forerunner. He's got a name tag. Yeah, GM. He's not just the manager.
You know, I'd like to
he's
see
the general
Deebo
manager.
Samuel get a few more endorsement deals. I mean, the guy's such a vibe. He doesn't say much, but when, he just seems fun.
Yeah.
He seems like a character. He's got the great name. I'd like to see Deebo. I'm pulling for Deebo to get a deal with I don't even know. I can't even say.
Barbershop what was the movie that the character Debo was in?
Next Friday.
Next Friday, that's right.
Next Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. We could do a whole thing after the season. We'll talk to the players and try to help them get their sponsorships.
After the
particularly if
season,
they
we should
win.
just do a whole segment on the sponsorships that these guys got.
And a whole section on fashion, apparently. That's what we're doing next. That's what we've been told by our crack research team.
That's true. They did today push real hard that we should be doing more outfit content,
Right.
rating players' outfits. And me and you kind of bumped. I know we didn't want to become the Melissa and Joan Rivers of sports fashion content. Speaking of endorsements, we're always looking for one. So,
As we drink
hey.
startup to storefront product placement.
Yeah, we're trying to find something. All right, we're going to take a quick break.
It's delicious.
We're going to take a quick break, Paulie, and
Great
we're
with
going to be
vodka.
right back with our Super Bowl preview. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into our Super Bowl preview. Paul was just saying he's having a little trouble looking at me.
Matt, this is the most eye contact I've made with another human since back when I was single and going on dates.
Hey, I don't know what that means, but maybe you should talk to your therapist about that.
I'm talking to you.
I am your therapist.
Yeah.
All right, Super Bowl preview. Before we get into our predictions and the spread and the over-under,
Right.
how do we feel about this game? You know, we've been reading a lot of articles. You read stuff. You've been sending me stuff. It really feels what they're saying, the analysts, is that the Chiefs and the Niners have traded places. If you're comparing it to 2019, 2020, the Chiefs had the better offense in 2020, and they outlasted the better defense of the Niners. This time, the Niners have the better offense. And can they outlast the Chiefs' better defense? So they've kind of switched roles. There's no Tyreek Hill or Sammy Watkins on the Chiefs anymore to take, over the top that coverage. This time we have a guy named Brock Purdy. We got a guy named Trent Williams. We got a guy named CMC. But like I said a few pods ago, our defense seems to spread their legs open like a 25-year-old Instagram model with a couple of wine spritzers. So what's your first feeling on this week's game, Paul?
I'm so distracted. I was totally with you until your analogies, which often happens.
Yeah.
So I read this article, I think it was in the Athletics morning, talking about how you build a franchise. And they said, basically, don't try to build it like the 49ers. The 49ers made like 100 mistakes, like, Trey Lance and other people that most teams would not be able to recover from. And the only way they've been able to do it is because Brock Purdy is the cheapest guy in the NFL. And they keep paying, max deals for guys. Kansas City hasn't done that. They're just, we got Mahomes and we'll figure it out from there.
Right.
So it's a more sustainable model, all that stuff. Look, so I have a take on this. You know how I like looking for signs, right?
Yeah.
And hocus pocus stuff, whatever. So, and I'm not getting my prediction yet, but apparently after the Ayuk catch last week.
Yeah.
Here's Purdy with a lot of time. Steps into one. Launching deep, going for Brandon Ayuk. It is. Oh, he caught it off the ricochet.
Somebody tried to replicate bouncing off his helmet and then landing
Like a
in
sports science thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently it's like impossible. Like 100 times it happened like once, right? So the fate seemingly, remember in 2012 when Hunter Pence had
hit the ball twice.
Three times, I think. Three times on a broken bat. His bat broke twice.
Right.
And then it spun its way into the outfield.
Yes.
And the Giants ended up winning that World Series.
Right.
I think something's going on, maybe the Niners' time, the fates are aligning. You look skeptical.
I mean, you do sound like our social media head, Rebecca, now trying to fit some astrological dots here, Paul.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I see, man. I can't, how I'm going to pick this game because that's what I do. I'm just saying that let's go out of the X's and O's. Sometimes teams are teams of destiny and sometimes they're not.
Screw them. This is your time.
Do you feel like this is a team of destiny? Are you getting Disneyland, Disney movie vibes from the Niners on this one? Because I do like that we're not, even though we're a favorite, we're not the favorite. The Chiefs are the dynasty
I have no
right
idea
now.
how they're the favorites.
You're having some projections. You're getting hits that this could be the thing. This could be our year.
I don't know. I'm just trying to talk myself into it. It seems like everything is pointing towards, the teams that win, again, go back to the Giants. Once they won the first one, you knew they were going to win the next two when they got there.
Easier said than done now.
I understand, but my point is that once you win, there's no pressure, right?
Yeah.
Who has pressure on Kansas City right now? Nobody. Andy Reid got his
got no
championships.
pressure.
Mahomes got his championships. He's a young guy. He's going to be back. There's no pressure. Whereas this is a referendum on Kyle's career. Purdy's finally playing the best quarterback in the league. He's had terrible starts the last 2 weeks. He picked it up in the second half. I don't know.
There's the Count of Monty Negdom. I wonder when he was going to make his appearance here. It only took about 22 minutes for the count.
Are you a gambler? Are you going to make any bets in this game?
Well, I am. I was going to get to that. And
Okay.
Great segue. Before we get to that, I will agree with you.
You know, tails, I'm sure you know this, tails is, of the 57 Super Bowls, there's been tails 30 times and heads 27 times.
So what does that mean? What does it all mean?
It just means it's supposed to be even odds, but it's clearly not.
You did say something about the Chiefs,
Right.
where it's Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones, and
Right.
then
Chris Jones, Pacheco.
But then after that, you're right. It's like 48 guys that work at Best Buy.
Yeah.
The Niners have built this monster of a team. It remains to be seen. I don't know. I'm not going to put it to the fates. I feel good. I'm getting that feeling in my gut, but I'll save it for the prediction. You did bring up bets, which I want to bring up. There is a lot of Taylor Swift prop bets on this. These are my favorite, and I wonder how you feel about this. The Score bet is offering a prop on the predominant color of Taylor Swift's top in the booth. What do you think the best odds are?
I mean, has she ever not worn red?
Yeah, red's going off at minus 300. But if she wears yellow or black, that's like at plus 1,000, plus
Because the odds
3,000.
are zero. She's not rooting for the Steelers.
You can also wager on the odds of Taylor Swift being shown during the national anthem, minus 200.
I think the odds of that are zero. They save the shots because they get a lot of criticism. I think that's zero. I'd bet on that one.
During the halftime show, it's plus 120.
They always, like in the Grammys last night, every time anyone was performing, they cut to Taylor Swift dancing and standing up.
Well, that's a good bet. That's going off at plus 120. So
See,
that's
like I got, I don't know who's going to win the game, but I seem to be pretty sure on some of these Taylor Swift parlays.
Usher's performing at halftime.
I know this.
You're a big Usher fan. You've got all his albums.
Absolutely.
And Nick is actually, Conrad, he's Usher's handler.
Oh, interesting.
So we're going to
I'll need to talk to him. I handled, you know, my whole Joe Frazier he was his handler in Vegas many moons ago. I can tell Nick about that.
Well, I was a few when I was a sober companion. I was a few people's handlers. May they rest
We
in
got
peace.
a lot of advice for you, Nick.
Yeah. We'll just move on from that. Here's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite one. This is the last one. FanDuel Canada is offering a prop if Kelsey will propose to Swift on the field after they win the game. That prop right now is running at plus 160 that she says yes. The no option started out at minus 250. Now it's at minus 3,000. He's not going to propose
That's
on the
not
field.
going to happen.
But to bet that, you would have to, and we're going to win because you know he's not. You'd have to bet 300,000 to win 10,000.
When I was engaged, I was like getting ready to get engaged. I was looking at like diamond rings online, right? And once you do that once, it's a mistake because then you get bombarded in Brilliant Earth, which is this, they make fake diamonds, right?
Yeah.
Imagine how much money Travis Kelce could make if he partnered with Brilliant Earth and he gave Taylor Swift one of these fake home diamonds. Like, how much money could he get for that? Like Brock Purdy, you know, we talk about sponsorship opportunities for him. That would be the most amazing sponsorship opportunity.
Let's think about this.
Yeah.
It would be absolute lunacy for Travis Kelce to propose to Taylor Swift on the field because he would basically take all the attention and put it on him, and that would be the story the next day, not the Chiefs winning.
So the odds of that are also zero.
However, that would be the greatest, maybe it's true love, but the greatest media stunt of all time in the history of mankind if he did that. But he's not going to.
He's not going to.
I need $10K to shoot this film next month. I'm just putting it out there. Matt Ferrucci's directing a film next month.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to get to the Super Bowl or are you trying to make this movie? What are your priorities?
I'm going to change because I'm not going to get, once we win the bet, I'm not going to get that $10K till after.
I got it.
So, Paul, I need you to put $300K
Wait,
on
what?
this.
What? Right.
Okay.
On which one?
On him not
Oh, him not proposing.
Yeah.
And how much do I make?
10,000.
300K wins me 10,000.
Wins you 10,000.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people right now listening to the pod, or their heads are spinning. It's on FanDuel Canada.
Okay.
If you want to do it.
So do I have to go to Canada?
Oh, we have to have a friend in Canada make the bet.
Okay.
Okay.
We're very popular in Canada.
That was our Super Bowl preview. But we're going to get to the predictions next after we take a quick break. All right, we're back. We want to do a quick shout out. One of our sponsors, Paul, as we do this every week, one of our sponsors, listen to me.
Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I have notes too, you know.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Our sponsor, Pet Pro, I know our fan base has caviar tastes and caviar dreams. From designer cat furniture to designer cat litter boxes to beautiful dog-proof furniture that prevents your furniture from being clawed and destroyed, Pet Pro Supply Co. has it all. Use code BEATLA for 10% off. That brings me to the Tony Campaglia pet peeve of the week. I thought long and hard on this, Paul.
I'm enjoying having a microphone, by the way.
I know.
Like,
I can
I feel like
see
I want to belt
the
out
way
into song.
the way
or
you hold it so delicately, though.
I don't know if I'm doing it right, but it's very exciting.
You know, there's artwork in your house that you don't hold as delicately as that, like the Damien Hirst in the den.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay,
Matt.
got it.
There's a lot of crime in my neighborhood right now,
Okay.
and there's a storm going on. It could be like one of those things where like the power goes out.
Yeah,
and
Bling Ring 2.
Yeah, Bling
the
Ring.
The
Yeah.
sequel. My pet peeve of the week, Paul, and you'll like this.
Yeah.
This is when Matt goes on the side tangent you didn't see coming, and
These are always exciting.
it speaks to your vibe.
Okay.
I thought long and hard, and nothing really annoyed me last week, Paul. I really didn't have a pet peeve. I had a good week. I had a really fun week. Okay.
Yeah,
I
know some stuff. I know why you're. You do seem like you're smiling a lot this week.
I went to the Magic Castle for
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
time,
there
but I'm
they-
not going to talk about that.
Yeah, no, you're not.
And what I'm going to talk about is the only thing that gave me a pet peeve. Have you picked up a Vanity Fair magazine recently and tried to read a Vanity Fair magazine?
No.
No.
I
And
don't
I'll
get
tell you
any
what, you're not
magazines
missing
anymore.
anything
They just
because
create clutter.
the days of Graydon Carter as the publisher and Dominic Dunn true crime articles are gone. The smart salaciousness is gone. Vanity Fair magazine is a slog.
How did this even happen? Where did you find one?
It hurts me. My mother gets it.
Oh, okay.
And I was flipping through. Not one article I cared about. Not one article. I just wanted to go pee-pee on it. I'm sorry. Do you read any magazines anymore?
I read the Wall Street Journal on my phone every morning.
Yeah?
You know, I read other stuff.
New York Times?
On the Niners.
The Athletic,
Read a lot
the
of stuff on
Chronicle,
the
maybe. I don't even
Niners.
read the Chronicle anymore.
Yeah.
I read like the Standard, San Francisco SF Gate, which is trying to be like the New York Post with their ridiculous articles.
I don't even know the difference between this SF Gate and the Chronicle. I thought they were the same, but this is where Nick is like, you've gone down to 1% of your audience. who cares about this.
All right, we're back. We're going to do a little prediction time. This is why everyone keys into this podcast. They don't care about what the NFL Network says. Adam Schefter, the pundits, Brian Baldinger. Who else is out there? Rich Eisen, Michael Irvin, Steve Mariucci.
Sorry, I just got to put on the Karnak.
Yeah, put on the Karnak
beanie. I
hat,
don't want to
baby.
hit the microphone with it. It might make a noise.
Oh, it goes with your sweater. Watch us
Does
on
it?
YouTube. You can see what I'm talking about. You are a vision.
Why didn't we do the Niners song again? You didn't tell people where that song is from. The kids don't know where that. Remember last week?
Oh, last week when we were dancing?
Yeah.
That was the 49ers song from the 80s when everyone after the Super Bowl
Shuffle, right.
And I thought the Niners song, everyone slept on it. That was the best song done by a team.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to play that again this week.
We're going to play it right now. Nick? Before we get to predictions, I just want to say you got a real Strange Brew Rick Moranis thing going right now. For those people that don't remember that movie, that is a deep, deep cut
Hey,
to
look,
show
it's
our
raining
age.
in L.A. Actually, this is not just for show.
Prediction time. Niners, 1.5 point favorite. Over under,
I think the
47 and a
spread
half.
changed. I thought I just saw the spreads at 2 now. No?
Oh, I looked. It went
you
back
looked?
down to 1.5.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
So some big money came in from somebody.
Right, like the 300,000 I just put on Travis Kelce.
That's right.
to not get
That's
engaged.
exactly right.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this game? Give me your prediction. Where's it going?
Oh, Matt, we all know what I'm doing here. I have to do the same thing every time, right?
give it to it. Like, don't change. You're the
Okay,
gold
I
standard
already
of
told
this.
you, I think either the Fates are on the Niners side or they just gotten really lucky and they actually suck. You know me, because I don't know that much about this stuff because I don't read all the, I don't know about the numbers or the analytics. But what I do is I go with gut feel about human nature, right? So I think you always go with the team that has nothing to lose and that it feeling no pressure. And I think that's the Chiefs. I don't know how anyone is thinking the Niners are going to win this game if they've watched the Niners play since the Ravens game. The Niners have not looked good. Their run defense is awful. Mm-hmm. Pacheco is going to have 150 yards on them. I think Mahomes is going to be calm, cool, and collected. They've got a great defense. I think that Purdy has never seen anything like this. I think Purdy's going to be in Vegas. I mean, Purdy maybe he's never even been to Vegas.
You remember his brother's knuckleheads. He's definitely been to Vegas.
But there's a lot of distractions there. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Maybe he'll get married at the drive-through chapel to his girlfriend,
Purdy.
his fiance.
You're talking about Purdy. I thought I was talking about Mahomes.
No.
Yeah.
Mahomes has been there before.
Yeah.
It is a good question, like the Vegas factor.
Well, did you see the stuff this morning with the field?
No.
So Oh, this is a big story right now. The 49ers flew in. They're supposed to practice at UNLV facilities, UNLV Stadium.
Sure.
They got there. The field is too soft. Kyle had a conniption fit. So much so, he's like, we're just going to do our media obligations and fly back to Santa Clara to practice.
Yeah, where it's like under like 6 inches of water.
It's raining now in Vegas. The 49ers practice facility is outdoors. The Chiefs are practicing indoors at the Raiders facility.
How did that happen?
Exactly. They said Kyle is having an absolute conniption
I'm
fit.
having a conniption, Matt.
I'm going to read you this right now. This was from Tim Kawakami. Guarantee you Kyle Shanahan is absolutely lighting up league officials over the practice field conditions right now, or is being kept away by 49er executives who are doing the barking themselves.
Hey, look, maybe they just sometimes you just you need a little something to make you angry, right?
Well, I'm
This is
speaking to
getting
your
a chip
point.
getting a chip on their shoulder.
It's not starting out well for the Niners in Vegas.
We don't need to get to my analysis. I am the Count of Montenegdom.
Greetings, it is I, the Count.
Count of Montenegdom, you're the king of the neg. And then there was another one. Oh, someone commented in our comments about your negdom and called you the Viscount of Negroni.
Ooh, I like that. Makes me thirsty now that I'm not January anymore. Look, I think I'm pretty much undefeated on the negs. So obviously I got to stick with it, even though I think I mostly believe it. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Okay.
And I think the Chiefs game is going to look a little bit like the last few Chiefs games where they haven't run up the score, but their defense will flummox the Niners.
Right.
I think the Chiefs are going to run all over them. I think it's going to be 24-20, which is, I guess, the under also, right? Is it 51? What's the over-under in this
47
thing?
and a half.
47. Okay, so I'm going the under. I'm going to go 24-20 Chiefs.
You heard it here first. Paul, the king of the neg, went Chiefs 24-20. All right, Paul. Well, you know what I'm going to do?
I'm feeling guilty now, but I had to do it, Matt. I had to do it.
I want to play it straight.
Yeah.
You know, as much shit as I got after week 5 when I said the 49ers were going to go undefeated and we lost 3 in a row, I feel like I've had a real nice bounce back.
You have. You were testing our audience that we didn't yet have. Unlike our second podcast, say the Niners were going to go undefeated. People are pissed.
Well, Paul, this is when I come in and you go and you start taking in some new information. Kansas City, they have the number 1 pass protection in the league, Paul. Number 1 pass protection. We're going to have to get to the quarterback.
Right.
Nick Bosa, I don't know what he's got to do. I mean, remember, you ever see that movie, The Program, where that outside linebacker was jacked up on roids and he fucking went ballistic and had a bunch of sacks?
I just keep thinking of Fast Times when Forrest Whitaker, when Spicoli crashes his car,
right,
and then they make it look like the other team did it.
Yep.
Maimed by Jefferson, like that kind of shit. Like that's what we need Nick Bosa to do during this. Cue the clip, Nick. See, that usually you're the guy that does that.
Yeah, no, that was good. I like it.
Thank you.
Nick Bosa, someone's got to fuck his car up.
Fuck his car up.
Someone's got to fuck up Trent. Someone's got to steal Debo Samuel's bling from his room.
That's great.
You know, and all that shit. The Kansas City defense, they have a top 5 secondary. They have one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Here's their weak spot. They're bottom 5 against the run.
I saw that.
I think this is going to be a shootout, Paul. I think we will be able to score points on this defense.
Okay.
Kyle will finally exercise his demons. He's going to draw up a Bill Walsh-like game plan. Okay, it's going to be beautiful.
It's exciting, man. I'm getting pumped.
The defense, though, is the massive question mark. Can we stop the run? I mean, they got a Debbie Does Dallas type of defense right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Real loose.
That's different than the Instagram model you talked about earlier, right?
Real loose. Like Roller Girl in Boogie Nights.
All right.
Real loose defense.
Yeah, okay.
The mascot for the 49ers defense is Roller Girl. Can we stop the run?
Behind the paywall, we have a whole section now behind the paywall where you get to actually hear Matt finish these analogies.
That's on the Patreon. But on the OnlyFans, you do the podcast without your shirt on, Paul.
Whew.
Yeah.
With just the beanie on.
Yeah.
I'm feeling, I can't see myself. On Riverside, I can see myself like we're on a Zoom. I have no fucking idea what's going on over here right
I
now.
can tell you as your screen.
Yeah.
You look good. You look good.
Thanks, Mike. Should I take the beanie off? I don't know.
No, keep it on. Keep it
Okay.
on. I'm not afraid of this wide receiver core. No Sammy Watkins.
No, that's
no
true.
Tyreek Hill.
That's true.
I'm not afraid of that. I fear Mahomes, though. But we have to stop Pacheco. The Chiefs' offense, this offense can be stopped, Paul.
Yeah, they haven't been winning shootouts, that's for sure.
Bottom line, Matt Ferrucci. I'm not the king of the neg.
No.
I'm the king of something else.
Job here. Yeah.
But I think our offense is going to find a way in a huge shootout. The Niners, Kyle Shanahan gets the monkey off his back.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey marries Olivia Culpo on the field afterwards.
That's amazing. If that's how it gets turned.
Elvis flies in, parachutes in like a honeymoon in Vegas, and marries Brock Purdy and his fiance on the field. There's like 4 marriages that happen on the field. The Niners get the monkey off their back and win this game 27-24.
Hey, look at you looking right into our new cameras.
27-24, baby.
Yeah. All right. I love it.
That's 51 points. So take the under. That also means the 49ers are going to cover. So that's for Aaron White.
No, you take the over. 51's over.
No, it's 51.5.
Oh,
You're right. It's
I think it's
47.5.
yeah.
I'm filled with mistakes today.
That's okay. You're so excited. You can't think straight.
I can't think straight.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
very hard to spin all these plates. Drinking game. I mentioned Aaron White on the podcast.
We're not used to being in the same room, man.
You know, Aaron White always says he doesn't bet anymore.
Yeah.
He's a liar. You know he bets. He just doesn't talk about his losses.
Okay.
So that's what it is. We are going to take another break, and we'll be right back. We're back. We're going to quickly talk really quick your favorite thing of the podcast,
Whoa.
Giants, this past weekend. Paul, you went to a private event with Giants Brass. Tell the Beat LA community about you hobnobbing with some old and new Giants. It sounded like a great event.
Hey, look, as most of our listeners know, I'm probably a baseball guy first and foremost. That's why I always get all my picks wrong. Although obviously I'm a diehard Niner guy. But I flew up and I went to a kind of meet and greet with Bob Melvin and a few other past and present Giants. And it was, I'm pumped for the season. I'm pumped for the baseball season. I'm worried about the Giants that they haven't signed anybody. But it was informative, and I can't say where I did it. I apparently can't talk a lot about it, but I will say this. One, pitchers and catchers are reporting. So regardless what happens this weekend with the Niners, we got more content coming. And two, the Giants are definitely about to sign somebody. I know we're like 9 days from pitchers and catchers, but the odds on the Matt Chapman signing after the conversations I heard seem exceptionally high. So if you want to bet on that, bet on the fact that they're finally going to sign Matt
So
Chapman.
what you were able to glean from this, and I hate that you're like, I can't talk about it because this is sources. This is what gets us 3 more viewers this podcast.
I'm not giving sources. You have to protect your sources.
True,
It's like Watergate.
but so you say Matt Chapman was the name that was batted around
Yes,
a lot in this thing.
a lot. Anyway, but I had some lovely chats. I found out that Rich Aurelia has a winery that he co-owns with Dave Roberts.
Wow.
Which is called Red Stitch. So I'm going to go to that at some point.
Red Stitch, that sounds delicious. Rich Aurelia, my favorite shortstop of all time for the San Francisco Giants. We'd love to have you on the podcast.
You know, it's called Red Stitch because the stitching on the baseball is red.
Yeah.
You know
That's
that.
great.
You're a
That's
baseball
great.
star
Yeah,
at SI.
yeah.
Anyway, it got me pumped for the season. I do think Matt Chapman's coming. They may have another. They traded Ross Stripling as well to the A's. I think that they were freeing up some money maybe. But anyway, so I do hate the fact that baseball, that there are all these guys unsigned 9 days before pitchers and catchers report, but it did get me pumped for the season. So
there it is.
Take the Matt Chapman signing to the bank.
There's the baseball beat. Let's finish up with a
Oh,
quick...
I should have put my baseball hat on.
Yeah. You want this one?
No,
you got
no,
that
it's
one? You
all
got
right,
it?
it's
Yeah.
all right.
Let me see. Okay. Looks good. We're going to just button this topic. We'll talk a little bit of Golden State Warriors. The trade deadline is this week. Do you think they do anything? You know, there's a lot of things. It's like Andrew Wiggins conveniently sprained his foot last week. You know, are they going to trade him? They could trade.
He may be hurt.
We have 2 tradable first-round picks. We have Chris Paul's expiring and a couple of mid-sized contracts, a.k.a. Looney, Moody, or Payton. I think they try to do a deal. I think they want to do a deal. Klay Thompson next year, are they going to let him walk for free because he wants a sizable deal? I don't know what happens. I could see the Warriors standing pat. We're 21-25. I still think we can make it into the play and into the playoffs and make a little tiny run. I don't know what kind of deal they make, but I think they're going to try. That's all I can offer on this topic.
Right. They look like they're playing better. Draymond's been playing better.
Kuminga
and Wiggins are playing well together finally.
Because
I know
Draymond at center, yeah.
Wiggins just turned his ankle. I don't know how long that's going to take.
There. Yep.
How long it's going to take for him to be out. But no, I think they look better. I think they're going to get in the play-in. Clay is a shell of his former self. I don't think they can get anything for trading Clay.
I think there's a market for Clay. I think they have to come to grips with their fear and desires Cue the True Romance clip.
If you want my movie, lady, you're gonna have to come to terms with your fear and desire.
And do they want to let him go, or do they want to do this death rattle retirement tour?
All good teams eventually, look what Bill Walsh used to do. Always would get rid of a guy a year too early than a year too late. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's a great point, man.
Yeah.
Get rid of the guy early.
I love validation.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to end right there.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to come back with the best things we saw.
Great.
I feel like I'm in a zone. I feel like I'm in a fucking zone right now. I feel like I'm 10 for 14 from the field, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. I got a bunch of assists. I'm going for
treeing. We used to call it in high school tennis. You're in the tree. You're treeing.
I'm in a tree. You're in a tree. You're trying to get to the tree. I feel like I'm about to get a triple-double here. Best things we saw. All the non-sports fans of the podcast can come back in.
Yep.
Come back into the room.
Come on, Kristen, my wife. Come on in.
Come on in. Come back in.
You're also going to be our fashion consultant soon. So
last week I went first. You're going first this time. Tell me, Paul, this week, what is the best thing or the only thing you saw this week you'd like to talk about?
It was really the only thing. Again, I was going back and forth to San Francisco a lot. I was getting stopped at security with the concern that I had an explosive microphone butt plug. There was a lot going on, so I didn't get a lot of watching.
Could we change the podcast name to Explosive Metal Butt Plug?
I mean, sure. Do you think that's going to help?
Continue.
Sponsorship opportunity.
Yep.
So what I did watch is I watched the Grammys last night.
Yes.
And I have some thoughts about the Grammys.
Tell me. I didn't really see it.
I know you didn't. I know there's a Jay-Z controversy where he called out the Grammys because
Killer Mike got arrested.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on a couple other things. Again, if you're like me, if you recorded it or whatever, you can still watch it, go on YouTube, whatever, find the clips. So one, I already mentioned, Taylor Swift stands up and dances for everybody else. I guess it's nice. She's like an adult cheerleader, but it started to get a little bit forced to me. I had this theory. I think she is starting to buckle a little bit under all of this bullshit, right? And by the way, she's flying to fucking Japan like today.
You don't think she's living her best life?
Okay, this is my take.
Yeah.
So I wrote this down, Matt. I don't write a lot of things down, even though I'm a writer.
But you're going to write it down.
I think she's jumped the shark. She announced it as her 13th Grammy. Who does that? Who tells you? Player, like, you don't have to tell us, right? We know. And then she announced her next record, I call it a record, called Torture Poet Society. She has sold more albums than anyone, like, ever. And she's a tortured poet? So it kind of pissed me off, honestly.
Okay.
And I like Tay-Tay. I
didn't even know people called her Tay-Tay.
I've been a Tay-Tay apologist for many years. I like her music, but I'm worried something's a little off. And maybe that's a good sign for the Niners.
You projecting,
right.
Motherfucker.
I also was very, all I did, if you want to play a drinking game while you're watching the Grammys, who is on Ozempic? There were so many, like Oprah came out. I was so distracted by how skinny Oprah is now. I'm like, Ozempic, so that you can do the Ozempic drinking game.
Or Wegovy. Continue.
Or Wegovy. Trevor Noah, I'm not a big fan of Trevor Noah as a host. He speaks really fast.
Oh.
And I like comedians like Norm Macdonald and people who
because you can't watch that on subtitles.
They slow it down.
Yeah.
And I noticed also that men don't sing popular music anymore. Like it was all women, which is great. It's amazing. But like, guys, come on, guys, let's get out there. Let's start making some hit songs.
Give that Pop for Paul.
Yeah.
Pop for Paul
Start
is the charity that we're going to do. There's like Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Right.
Jesus Christ. There's Pop
anyway,
for Paul.
These are all the thoughts I had on the Grammys as your Grammy correspondent.
I like that, Paul. I like how you said about a callback.
I thought it was going to be half full, by the way, because of the rain. Like everyone in LA just like, fuck it, I'm not going to go.
Fuck it, they went.
Yeah.
You brought up a great point. We were talking about how Nick Bosa, Forrest Whitaker's got to fuck his car up, and like someone should steal Debo's jewelry to pump him up.
Trusted it. Yeah.
Someone's got to initiate a breakup of Taylor and Kelsey, a video of one of them cheating right before the Super Bowl.
Right.
That would devastate Kelsey, but also it would permeate the mindset of the Chiefs too.
You know how to make deep fakes, right? Like you're good on the internet.
I'm really good
on the interweb.
I'm really good at the deep fake of making us look fucking good on this freaking show. That was great. I saw Tracy Chapman do Fast Cars. That was really cool.
Great.
I really enjoyed that. That was really great. Yeah. All right, Paul, I have one thing I'd like to talk about for best things I saw. I'm going to give our listeners something they could actually watch tonight. Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon.
I'm fascinated by this. The ads have been driving me crazy because I'm tired of all these remakes, but then I keep reading good things about it.
Okay, so I love this fucking show. I watched 2 episodes last night. Obviously, I'm a humongous Atlanta fan.
Yeah, he's great.
But this show evokes Atlanta in the reboot. It's based off the film with Angelina and Brad. This has Donald Glover and Maya Erskine, a really weird sort of casting choice. But Hiro Murai directed the first 2 episodes, and he produces. This is one of my favorite directors out there in the game right now. He directed a lot of Atlanta. He produced Station 11, produced Barry. It's sexy, Paul. It looks great. It takes place in New York. It uses New York. They go get bagels at like famous bagel places. They got a great cast of characters that pop in and out. Paul Dano, John Turturro, Parker Posey, your buddy Alexander Skarsgård, the head of Gojo.
Head of Gojo.
But what makes it great is Glover and Erskine aren't pretty like Pitt and Jolie. And it grounds the show in a reality, but it looks really fucking good. Like, I'm always like the story should be great, but the aesthetic, the palette of the show is so fucking sexy. This is where I'm landing on this. If you don't like this show, and this is coming at you, Paul, and this is also coming at Nick, if you don't like this show, there is something wrong with you mentally, and you should seek therapy for your inability to enjoy nice things.
Holy shit. So this has gone right into self-help corner, too. I like this. I read a review, and it said it's the emo Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is more about, I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen it, but it's more about the psychology of these
That's what makes it great.
I like that kind of stuff, man.
It's a glorious remake. Yeah. It's not even a remake. It's just really well done. Watch the first 2 episodes. Okay. It's why I watch television, and I can't wait to watch more tonight. All right, folks. That is our Super Bowl week preview show.
I keep looking at the camera. I realize I should be looking at the camera
From our beautiful
breaking the fourth wall
podcast center. Did it in person. Watch it on YouTube. Do you have any shout-outs this week?
Yes, I'm doing a pre-shout out for whoever gets us to the Super Bowl. Come on, somebody
someone's got to do it,
right?
Someone's got to do it.
And I'm going to do a pre-shout out to Nick for being our correspondent at the Super Bowl.
That's right. Nick Conrad, the cousin Ryan. We're going to have some boots on the ground, doing some stuff, and we will have some of that. Also want to shout out Diego for letting us use the space.
That's smart. I should have done that.
And Rebecca Hanley, our social media head, who's been pumping out a lot of great content on our Instagram Reels. You should check it out. YouTube Shorts.
We're starting to get a lot of people angry, which is great. It means we finally made it. We had this journey clip that had a lot of views, and people were kind of threatening us.
Yeah, that's true. That's how you know you did it. Also, I have a lawyer listener shout out. I want to do a lawyer listener segment where I just name one person that's a loyal listener. Chris Ferrara.
I think you said a lawyer listener.
Loyal.
I know we have
loyal
those too.
Listener.
Okay.
Chris Ferrari's a big fan of the show. He texts me. He's a big Niners fan. Chris, I believe in you because I know you believe in the Niners. Great. Paul, I hope next Monday when we do this, it is coming from a place of absolute joy. Absolute joy.
It seems like we've got to cue the 49ers song.
Yes. Until next week, folks.
Let's go Niners.
Come on.
We need this.
Come on, motherfucker.
The pod needs you.
Let's go.